stuck on the hill right now. Every day I've been hustling.
Welcome to the Huddle with Rome. We got a special guest. Yes, finally. Well, we got my boy Evan Williams, man, 2-time All-State running back in Minnesota, 1-time 4x1 state champion, and he placed in a 100-meter dash. Got my boy, my dog, one of my road dogs. We was thick as thieves in high school. Got my boy, E-Dub. Oh, yeah, there we go. Got my boy, he in here now. Hey, man, hey, my boy Dub, man, welcome to the Huddle with Rome. You know, this is an exclusive interview. People don't know it. You don't talk to people like that. You're very quiet, always been quiet.
Always.
So for us to even be doing this, hey, I'm honored. You know what I'm saying? You see me, man. You see I'm repping, bro. You see me?
I see it.
You know, a lot of people ain't had all this. I mean, we ain't win, but we was winning. You know,
we was there.
We was there. So, what's up, man? How you doing, though?
I'm living. You know me. I'm good. Just working here at home. That's all I need.
Thank you, bro. Yeah, man. So I like to start off, you know, with just a question, like something that me and you know. I guess I was pondering on these questions. I'm like, dang, what can I really say? Like that's something that, man, you know, we got 1,000 stories and 1,000 memories. But I'll just talk about this. Do you remember when we was in section against it was actually track and field, and we had just got DQ from the 4x2. Do you remember when you was the second leg, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So remember when you handed the baton off and you looked up, were we winning or were we losing?
Sections.
Remember to go to state?
Oh, honestly, that was a little man.
You don't remember when you gave it to Pat and we was losing and we lost the league? And then when I got it and I hogged North down?
It's all a blur. Honestly, I don't even remember. Too many hits to the head.
Too many hits to the head, man. You don't remember that? I thought you remember that because I remember we talked about that. He was like, man. Anywho, man. So, hey, I'm going to start it off, man. Get into the origin stories. Yeah. Originally, where you from, man?
Originally born in Chicago, South Shore. Born there, raised there for a few years. Ended up, my grandfather got sick. Then we ended up moving here, helping him out a little bit, helping the family out, and then ended up just staying. Grew up over South Minneapolis, you know, with all the guys over South, 40 block. So, you know.
Yeah. How old was you when you said you came? How old was you?
Oh, man, it was second grade. Crazy enough, me and Mike Hampton moved about the same time. So, yeah, second grade, came here. Yeah, man, just...
So growing up, you said 40 block. That's a notorious block, and nobody know that.
Yeah, they don't know that.
Yeah, they don't know that. All the stars lived on 40 block. So what was it like, you know, growing up on the South Side? Obviously, it's not Chicago. It's a little bit different. Is it obviously like is it like some similarities or is it like some comparisons of growing up? 'Cause I know you probably don't remember that much, but from what you do remember,
yeah, no, it was cool. It was cool. I mean, like I said, all the guys went to the same school there. We all lived in that same neighborhood. We had, you know, go to school, come home, hoop over at my house, hang out during the summers. So it was a nice little community over there, and it was a little bit different than Northside, of course. But I mean, for the most part, it was just kids having fun. I think we was like that last generation of, you know, riding over to somebody's house and just hanging there for the whole day and then getting sent home. You know, so
yeah, these kids are cooked now. They're straight iPad, tablets. It's just all bad. So your pops hooped in college at Langston University.
Yeah,
I remember he used to always tell us stories about that. So like even thinking about that, like what was the first sport did you play when you coming up?
Man, I did everything coming up. Really wasn't. I wouldn't say I was an athlete as a kid early. Like my first sport was probably soccer, and I was doing that in Chicago. And then, you know, I ended up just running into folks, and my coach was like, "You might need to, you know, play another sport." But I didn't really know what to play. And then at that time, in Chicago, I was about 5 years old. They had practice every day. My parents was like, "Man, he ain't practicing every day at 5 years old. Like, that's ridiculous." So, ended up getting into swimming, which, you know, I was actually legit at that. Yeah, I did that for years. Played lacrosse. Like I said, soccer. Didn't really get into basketball until I got to Minnesota. So yeah,
Okay.
actually, yeah.
So when you first got here, that's when you started hooping?
Yeah, crazy enough, I wasn't really interested in it. Mike Hampton, he was playing for McCrae. He was like, man, you should come play basketball with me. And I was like, all right, cool, yeah, I'll try it out. Ended up playing for Valoa. I don't know if too many people remember her, but she was a great coach and did that for a while. Ended up from that transitioning into AAU, playing for the Minneapolis Kings. And then from there, that's how I got into Southside. So,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. So when you played for McCrae, was there any like dudes on your team that was like legit? I mean, we played against each other back in
Mhm.
the day. So
Right.
like that's what I like. Besides before the hoop game, like
Mhm.
that's when I was like, man, he actually tough at football too. Because I knew you from basketball the year prior,
Mhm.
7th grade. But then when I saw you in football, I was like, oh yeah, he like that. Like just talk about that playing on the south side. Obviously we played city to city, north and south. So
Right.
talk about that, like some dudes you ran across playing in McCrae. And your dad was the coach too, so that was
Right.
kind of funny. Like, let's talk about that.
Right. We talking football or basketball?
Football,
Basketball. Basketball
football.
was a ball game. Football. I mean, so many people. I mean, playing from McCrae was tough. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It was rough. I mean, learn how to lose there. You take your lumps. Our wins are great, but
Right.
it was rough, man. I mean, Northside has some good teams.
Thank you, man. Thank
Playing
you. I'm
against,
sorry to cut you off, but I keep telling people we had the best teams,
yeah,
bro. Like
some
for
good
real.
teams. I mean, it was rough. Like we'd go over there and play City Panthers, and it's like Marcus. You got Chantrell. You got uh, Raymond. You got
Raymond Dawes.
man, and it was like, oh, we know we're gonna get washed, but like y'all trying to kill us over here. But I mean, it was a good lesson. It was a good lesson because it shows you where you at, what you got to work on, and all that stuff. Yeah, even over South, I mean, we had to play against Sibley. You got Adam trying to take your head off. It's like,
Shout out to Adam Coleman.
man, yep. So, I mean, that's what I say.
Green Park.
We grew up in a good time where we had some really good football. So,
So yeah, I remember when we played 8th grade year, and y'all had like this reverse play, and you did
mm-hmm.
it once and handed it off with the reverse. I'm like, okay. Then you
Mm-hmm.
did it again, and
Oh
I'm
yeah,
like, oh, yeah. Took off on me. I ran past you. You went the other way.
mm-hmm.
I'm like, that's
Yeah,
crazy. That's when I'm like, oh yeah,
yeah.
he's cold. When
That's
we were cheating that game too. Though we had our lineman running the ball, and then y'all had y'all lineman
yeah,
running the ball too.
yeah,
So hey, it is what
yeah.
it
We only
is.
did it because y'all did it. We had to
Nah,
give, Bobby, Big Bobby. We had to give him the ball because he could move a little bit.
yeah,
Yeah, but it was fun, man. It was fun. It was a nice little wake up call playing South Minneapolis. I'm just gonna be honest with you. It was a little bit softer than North Minneapolis football.
I
I'll just be
appreciate
real
that.
about it. Yeah,
Appreciate that, man. Man, we're a little bit different.
it is.
But
It is.
so let's talk about basketball because I had
Yeah,
a few of your teammates on there. So the Southside days, man, y'all had a whip.
mhm. Yeah,
And y'all had a squad. Like talk about some
mhm.
of them dudes on your team. Like when y'all started off.
Man, of course, we had Bryce. I mean, Bryce was our go-to. He's big dog. He was doing his thing. Derek, Mike, Jalen, both Jalen's. Uh, we had a nice little group. We had Evan Warren.
Mm-hmm.
He was coming off doing the whole thing, and Walt was there for a little bit, but he left, did his own thing, which is cool. We had Danny. We had a whip. We
Jonathan
had a
Berry.
whip. Yep, Barry. Yep, he was Anthony Weber. Yeah. So we had some good dudes, and of course, Coach Boone. He was a great coach. I mean, he really focused on that developmental aspect of basketball. Nowadays kids just coming out, just tossing up threes like they're gonna make it, but he actually taught us the game, which I appreciate because there's a lot that goes into it. So yeah,
So
we had a nice little team there.
yeah, AAU was fun, man, because we got to
Mm,
travel a lot. Obviously, we
right.
seen each other a lot. That's when I
Mm,
first met y'all dudes.
right.
So even at that time in middle school, what did you think was your go-to sport, like football or basketball? Because you was tough at both.
I honestly didn't know. I honestly did not know. To be honest, I think basketball. I like basketball a lot more.
Right.
Because I had that hoop in the backyard. I could just go out there do my thing. And then football, I didn't get good probably until 8th grade, I'd say. Because
That's
I
crazy.
had Yeah, no, it's the truth. We had some dudes at McCrae. Don't forget Brandon. We had Brandon. We had Rashid. We had all those dudes playing above me, and I
Oh,
played
yeah,
up.
Brandon King.
Oh yeah, he was there for a little bit.
Brandon King was McCrae?
Yes,
Oh, I didn't know that.
yes. Brandon was
Okay.
at McCrae for a little bit. He was slinging it. We had Victor, Easter. We had a whole bunch of dudes. Nick Smith. Like all these dudes were better than me, so I was just out there, playing with the older kids, and yeah, and I was just trying to keep up with them. And then eighth grade, they were all in high school, so I was like, all right, it's my time now. And that's
Right.
when I could kind of start seeing the difference. But honestly, I think I loved basketball more because growing up in Chicago during the Bulls days, during the 90s, watching, all that stuff, I actually liked basketball a little bit more.
And basketball was easier when we were younger. Let's
Yeah,
just keep it real. Like, it was
right.
easier for me, too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
football was hard for me, like, first. So, yeah, I feel that. So, all right, boom. So, after that, you get to high school.
Yeah,
What was your decision on going to De La Salle? Like, I know your sister went there. Was
yeah.
that, like, a big factor into it? Or what was your decision in choosing De
That
La Salle?
definitely was a factor. When I was coming out, I was Washburn all the way. I was ready to go to Washburn.
Me,
I
too.
had my mind set. My sister was at Washburn for a year. She transferred. So then I was like, I don't really want to go to De La Salle because, private Catholic school, nobody wants to go there. Nothing happens.
Right.
Washburn, you got stuff going on. You got a bunch of kids there, a bunch of my friends from, field. But honestly, biggest deciding factor was I went to go see Alexander Robinson play. And it was the game that he ran for like 400 something yards.
Against
Yeah.
Columbia Heights. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
He
At
like
Brooklyn
broke he
Center.
like broke the state record at the time. Yeah, yeah.
Yep. So I watched him play and I was like, dang, I'm kind of good at football. If I go there, I might get the ball like that. I might be able to, do something like that. And then that was my decision right there. I was like,
That's crazy.
yeah. Yeah.
I got a similar story, but when I didn't see that game, but I went to
Mm.
the game they playing against Delano,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. I was there too.
he
Yeah.
was killing, but he kept getting like cramps. I'm looking like,
Mm-hmm.
man, this dude is cold. And then
Yeah.
obviously I knew Jeremy, he was out there, but man, I'm looking like, man, that was
Mm-hmm.
tough.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what's up, bro. So I know you remember that little freshman party too.
Oh,
So
yeah.
let's talk about that. Like, cause I know when I walked in and I seen all y'all going, I
Mm-hmm.
knew it was up. I'm like, oh wow. I'm like, this dude going, cause like we
Mm-hmm.
knew each other from basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Then football, I'm like, bro, like, I was talking to Jalen about it and Ashante, and I was just like, man, like, people don't realize how much talent we had our incoming freshman class. Like, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, we were overly stacked.
Yeah.
Like everybody can go. So like,
Oh, yeah.
talk about that. Like when you got there and you seen like even Walt, like he
Mm-hmm.
played with you previously, and then like you knew me from over north and
Mm-hmm.
all that. So like, just talk about that. Like them guys. Like what did you think of that class, and what was your thoughts like on the future?
Yeah. I mean, that day specifically was crazy because I remember we had an AAU tournament at Cooper. And so we just got done playing, and all the guys were like, "Are y'all going?" We was like, "Man, I don't really even know." He's like, "Let's just go." We ended up going, and then we see all of y'all, and we're like, "Hold on, like, I didn't really know like this was really happening." Yeah, so much that Mo was in there, like just all them dudes, and we was like, "All right, so if we actually all come here, we might do some damage."
Right, because it was that friend that was like, you
Mm-hmm.
there, but you still gotta make it to August to get in the building. So
Right.
yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then just from a competitive standpoint, like playing against y'all, he was like, we could play it, like we battled against each other, playing AAU football, all that stuff. But
Right,
then
me and
once you
Hurdle.
step off the field or the court, I mean, I remember you hanging out with us during AAU, like while we
Hmm.
was eating between games and whatnot. So it's like, if we could do that then, just imagine what we could do for 4 years. Psh,
Right,
easy.
right, cool. So you get to De La Salle, and we all play freshmen,
Yeah,
ironically, uh,
yeah,
and our team was ridiculous. Like
stats.
it was me, you, Wall, three-headed
Mm-hmm.
monster. Muhammad was
Mm-hmm.
going crazy. Keaton.
Mm-hmm.
We had dudes just killing. Like, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? John Hurdle was our quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Tim Baberoff.
Yeah, yeah.
He was the second string quarterback. He was dope. Aaron McCrossin, shout out to him. I like that dude too.
Yeah.
But
Good.
we had some dudes, Bo Roberts, Richard at the
Yeah.
time was real nice. Man, it's just so many dudes, man. So like talk about that season. Like once we all got together, and I want you to talk about like Coach Grant. Like just talk about his coaching philosophy, how he had us, man. Honestly, I know how you feel about him. I think that was one of the best coaches I ever had.
Yeah.
But let's talk about that season and just chime in a little bit about Coach Grant.
Yeah, man. Coach Grant's a great dude. Anytime I get a chance to talk to him, I will. It's great. Still is great. I mean, and all of our coaches. I mean, across the board. I mean, I just remember walking in and I knew it was going to be good when Coach Bryce gave his introduction. And he was like, yeah, y'all think y'all good, but y'all not good yet.
Right.
And I was like, okay, cool. And then we started doing the workouts, summer workouts and all that stuff. And they actually had us working. And I'm like, all right, this is probably the right place to be. And then not only that, but I think everybody played their role really well. Like, you need to go in on defense, you play defense. I mean, we used to that growing up. But, you know, we go both ways. You need to play running back, go do it. You need to play receiver, go do it. And everybody was interchangeable. Anybody could score. And then the greatest thing about it is I remember we had played these games and we had played till what, second quarter, and then, you know, let other guys get their reps, let other guys get their runs. So we had guys coming off the bench who had never played football, getting interceptions, getting fumbles, doing all that stuff.
Lamar Patterson, shout out to Lamar.
Yep, shout out to Lamar. Yep. Jordan Webb, and he got Jordan that big.
Yep.
I
Antoine.
just love the whole family aspect of it.
Right. Is there any like memorable games that stood up for you? Because we weren't undefeated, obviously. Like we smacked everybody. We played JV teams. Hey, do you remember that game we were going to play against Blake, and the JV was like, "No, we need you, Evan."
I was pissed.
He was pissed off. He was like, he was so mad putting on that other uniform, and I'm over here putting my shit on fast.
Because the thing is, Weinberger told me, he was like, "Yeah, you're gonna play JV today," and I was like, "All right, we'll see about that." So everybody's getting ready in the locker room. I was in the back corner putting my freshman uniform on, number 24 with the big baggy pants. And I was like, just sit back here. And JV was getting ready to leave, and then somebody came and grabbed me. They was like, "No, you playing JV." Gave me number 89 jersey. I was like,
hey, you was mad. I was happy, boy. I went crazy that game, boy. I had 4 touchdowns in the first half, boy. I went stupid, boy. Hey, but you know, I didn't. One thing, bro, and I always tell people that, like, even like when we went to varsity and all that, we didn't have no egos, bro. Like on the squad, like everybody got theirs in some capacity. You feel me? You know, that day you wasn't there. I said, okay, it's my time to step up, and I did. So like, and everybody stepped up when they needed to.
Right.
So yeah, man, that's what's up. Dope. I even still got the freshman highlight tape right here.
Gotta watch it every time.
Gotta watch it every once in a while, you know.
Every time, yeah.
So yeah, bro. So we end up finishing up the season. I know you got moved up to varsity for a few playoff games. You know, we started to see like you, Mo, Keaton got moved up. But you guys, y'all all was bigger than us too, but y'all all were like the dominant dudes at the time. So that was kind of dope to see. And just, you know, what was your expectations going into the next year? Like, cause you know, you were a freshman, you wasn't really, you didn't play, but you was like on the, you know, on the team. So what was your expectation going to the next year?
Get some tick, get some clock, and see what I could do. I think I was gonna try and move into that slot position a little bit because Weinberger saw me catch a little bit during freshman year, and he was like, "Oh, because you know we still had Jeremy, and he's gonna run a rock." So it was like I got to get my place when I can. Something. So yeah, kind of moving to that slot position. You still had Denzel, you know. So I was just trying to do something, just trying to do whatever I could to be a part of it, just get that experience.
That's what's up. Yeah. So basketball season is kind of, and you end up starting varsity as a freshman. How was that?
It was whatever, man. It was fun. It was cool. It was great to put. I mean, I got thrown in at probably the worst possible time. I mean, I think that my freshman year was like the year of the guards, and I was out there trying to guard Jordan Taylor. Like, come on,
Jordan
buddy from Blake. Man, there were so many dudes, and I was just and
Al Nolan.
Playing Henry was the worst.
Yeah. Talk about that. Hey, talk about that because I remember this when they came. And that boy Jordan and Lewis was playing, and they was busting threes. And Al Nolan literally stepped across the half court line, pulled up and smacked it. I'm looking like, what? So
that was the one at D. Like that one was tough because they just came out and trapped us the whole game. The one at Henry, oof, That was different because we sitting in the locker room and oh man, what was they playing? They was playing something. You could hear the music from their locker room coming through the vents in ours, and Dorsey, he's giving us this proper speech of pass the ball, get the ball to so and so, and this and that, and all we could hear is him crazy in their locker
Well, that's what they do, bro. My brother-in-law said that's what Henry do to scare people. They bang on
room.
the wall.
See, but
He
that's the
had
thing is
y'all
like
boys shook.
that's the thing is like he had people shook, but like we didn't play against Jordan, we didn't play against Lewis forever, so it's not
Right.
big for me. The difference was the way we played against that style of play. I
Right.
mean, we can't win a game scoring 50 points when they running the ball up and down the court,
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's my take on DSL basketball that year. It was rough for me.
I feel it. All right, so you come back
Yeah.
sophomore year, and
Mm-hmm.
they made the dumbest mistake in the world, putting you on JV. And honestly, bro, like I don't think me, you, or Walt should have played JV at all, but it is what it is. So the first game we played against Johnson. I want to say it was like the first play
Nope.
of the game. Was
Second.
it the
Because
second
first
play?
play, I busted it for like 60,
60.
70. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the second play of the game, bro, you end
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
tearing your ACL, bro.
Yeah.
So
I got Flamingo, messed up the knee, was out for the year.
yeah, man. I remember you doing that, bro, and like your dad was pissed. Like, why
Mm-hmm.
the fuck is he playing? And like I didn't get it either, bro, because I'm looking like, and that's when I switched to receiver. Because I'm looking like, bro, I was on that same thing as you. Because I'm like, okay, it's gonna be Jeremy, Evan. I'm like, I'm not gonna play running back. I can
Yeah.
probably be second string with Dunzo. I thought I was gonna be starting safety. Obviously, that didn't work out, but
Mm-hmm.
you already know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, like it really just killed your whole sophomore season. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember, bro, like you was sick. Like
That was
you was
bad.
super sick. Like I was like, damn, I like you. I remember you didn't come to school for a minute. I was like, damn, is this dude
Yeah.
cool? And then like I remember like you was just like, man, bro, I was like messed up. So talk about that. Like how did you? I mean, see, I know you were sad and messed up, but like was you like depressed in that time? Like when that
Oh yeah.
happened?
Oh
So
yeah.
with
Because that's the one thing I had going for me. It was after that freshman year. That's when that recruiting really starts. People start coming. So I was getting letters like my summer of my freshman year, and I was like, oh yeah, we're in here. Like this is
entering
it.
the sophomore year, you was getting letters.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Okay.
that's the thing is like I had never played, so I didn't know what the whole process was. And I
Right.
was getting like little letters, Augsburg, this, that, but still, you're like, oh, I'm getting some recognition somewhere. Not necessarily recognition, but I would say like interest from somewhere. And I was like, all right, cool. Could possibly be it. This is my ticket. And yeah, just having that taken away from you. And then not only that, but the doctors tell you the worst possible news. So before surgery, they were like, yeah, we don't know if you could play because your cartilage is gone. So it's like I had to get my knee fixed. Then they had to cut all the cartilage out. And, my knees still click to this day.
Bro,
So,
hold on. You didn't have cartilage in your knee?
so like I had cartilage, but there was like a point where like the tip of it would rub against the bone. So it's like
Bro, I
if I'm
didn't know
doing
that.
something, yeah, man, yeah.
I thought it
So
was just a regular ACL tear. I didn't know it was that
I had
extensive.
it that, and then I chipped some of the cartilage, so I had to go in and cut it down. But then there was like a little piece that would rub against the bone still. So yeah, they was like, yeah, football might be tough. You might have to get your knee fixed a few times if you keep wanting to play. And I was like, man, it's my ticket. I got to. So I'm gonna do whatever I have to.
Right. How was the rehab process for that?
It was great. Loved it. Loved
Right.
every second of it because Cindy, shout out to Cindy,
Shout out to
she got my life together. She kept me pretty positive with it too. And not only that, but that was like the first time I actually started like working out. So I remember like I was probably dunking 8th grade, like getting the little rim grazer dunks or whatever. But I came back that next year and I was like, oh, my legs are different. Like I was moving. Like I think I ran like a 4.9 something my freshman year. Not super fast, not super slow, but just I can move. And I came back that next year, it was different.
It's,
Muscles started working, legs was like activated. So shout out to Cindy. She really got me right there and, going to tree every morning, doing all that work. I really appreciate it. So,
Yeah. So would you say like that ACL kind of contribute to like some of the struggles in the classroom?
oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I was mentally out of it.
Right. No,
Mentally out of it. Now that set me back so much. And from then on, I was playing catch up
I
because
catch up.
I
Yeah.
basically took my sophomore year off. And at De La Salle, they was like, if you ain't got grades, you got to go.
Facts.
And luckily, I had some people on my side, and they was like, "No, he's gonna be all right." But yeah, I was playing catch up, and then not only that, I was still playing basketball my sophomore year, so I was playing with a messed up knee, and we had practice in the morning. Sit at practice, not do anything, and then go to class all day. Like I'm not doing that.
Right.
Yeah, man, it was a struggle for sure.
For sure. Yeah. So you come back junior year. All the big dogs is gone. Before we get there, like talk about like them dudes, Jeremy, Devin, Charles McCrae, Roderick, D'Angelo, like them dudes was cold, man. Like them was the dudes I looked at and I was like, man, like if I could get like, cause Charles and D'Angelo, those was my dudes. Like I wanted to beat them so bad, especially Charles McCree. Like, and I've told Charles that. But man, like we had good like role models, like to look for to model our game after. Like so once those dudes left the class of '09, we had some dudes. We had AJ had came. Van Leer was there, Spencer Harris, Adam. So like going and then like after we lost the championship that year, obviously none of us played. I mean, I played special teams, but it was whatever. But we come back, and it was just like, man, like. But anyway, talk about them dudes. Like, Jeremy's running style, like they contribute to how because you donned his number the next year. So.
I wore that number because of Marshall Falk.
Okay,
That was
my
my
fault.
guy.
My
That
fault.
was my guy. Yeah. Nah, I had switched up numbers all the time, but Marshall Falk was my guy. So I wore that number because of him. And then honestly, I didn't know I was gonna be good in varsity football. Like I knew I was good in freshman. Like JV, I was cool. I didn't know I was gonna be good in varsity until I took that first carry. That first carry to the house, and I was like,
Yeah.
"This is easy."
Against
Second
Brooklyn
carry.
Center High School that we beat
Second
by
carry.
60.
Yep. Second carry to the house, and I was like, "Oh, I could do this."
Facts.
So honestly, from that point on, I was trying to catch Alexander. No disrespect to Jeremy at all, because he is a dog. But yeah, I was trying to catch Alexander at that point. I was like, oh yeah, I could do this. So
for sure. So yeah, all right. Let's talk about it. You get there junior year, we played against BC, and like, was there any nervousness?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. The thing of like freshman year was cool. That game that you was talking about, where I had to go play JV. The first JV hits are a little bit different when you're a freshman.
Absolutely.
So I was like, in my head, all right, I haven't played a whole year and I'm playing varsity. This is really gonna be different.
You missed the whole year too.
Yeah, right. So, but then it was like, oh no, I could actually do this. So I was super nervous going into that game. But yeah, I got my few carries, and then after that, Weinberg took me out, and I was like, oh no, let me spin, let me go. And he's like, after last year, just chill out for a little bit. We seen what you could do, and then from that point on,
so we blew them out by 60. People don't know that. All you Brooklyn Center guys, we beat y'all by 60. I couldn't mess with us, never. Anywho, so man, yeah, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like, obviously, I knew you was cold from freshman year, but like, I was as much as you was my teammate, I was a fan watching you. Like, I used to be like, chill, he's doing it again. But so like, bro, like, so boom, we played against BC. You went crazy on them. Then we played against St. Croix Lutheran. That's That's kind of like our rival. And talk about that team, because hey, it was always tough in the first quarter, first half, and then we obviously run away. Like, talk about that game. Cause I know you had like two.
Hated St. Croix Lutheran. Hated playing against them because they was tough. It was tough. The Bows, I mean, he was one of the people that when he hit you, you felt it. So like he wasn't the biggest dude, but he was always there, and he would hit you all game long. And I'm like, man, come on. But they was a good team. They had some dudes, and then they ran that triple option,
That
whatever.
beer option.
But yeah, they were tough. They were tough. But of course, we got the better of them. And then, like I always said, like yeah, I had good numbers, but you go back and watch my highlight tape, and you watch the guys up front. You watch AJ downfield. You watch Zell downfield. It was a team effort, and
Team
when one
effort.
person does good, everybody does good.
No,
So
facts.
my running opened up the pass, which got y'all on defense to make big plays. Like it was really just poetry in motion at that point.
Hey, do you remember when we played? It was like the game before. I don't know who we played against. Remember, we had just finished the game, and St. Anthony was on that prep sports thing,
Mhm.
and they had just won. They were just like, "Yeah, they may have the best offense in the state, but we got the best defense in the state." And we beat
Mhm.
them by 60. And remember, you
Yeah.
rocked that dude on that crackback, and you stood
Mhm.
over him. Boy, I was jumping up and down like this dude crazy. You
Yeah.
went crazy on them boys, man.
Yeah. I
I
mean, it was
I
one of
think
those
you
things where
scored
it's
on the first play on that game too.
probably I don't even remember. Like I remember little bits and pieces of it, but that play specifically, I remember we was running that screen for Adam,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think we had practiced it. So I was like asking questions, like, "What do I do?" He's like, "Fake the handoff and just block." And I was like, "No." So I faked the handoff and I just sprinted down the middle of the field. And I was just waiting for somebody because I was like, I know this is a screen. I'm gonna break it. I'm gonna catch somebody. Unfortunately, number 44 was my target.
Right though.
Got that work.
Man.
So
Yeah, bro. We used to it wasn't fair. So even thinking about that though, what was the toughest game that year for you? Your junior year? Because we
like
ran through teams, but like what was the toughest game for you personally? Like where you was just like, man, I could think of one on the top of my head, but you came back and did your thing.
honestly, it was that playoff game against St. Croix. Just because I was concussed the whole game. So I don't. Yeah, it was at Cottage Grove.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I got to play whatever, got like 5 yards, got tackled, hit the ground, and then somebody kneed me in the back of my head. And so, like, yeah, I got up and I was out of it. I don't remember that game at all. But yeah, that was probably like the little bits and pieces of it. I remember I was just struggling playing. I think
I,
I still had a decent game, but yeah,
what
that was
about
probably,
What about that game we played against Rochester Lords? Remember you fumbled twice.
yeah.
I think that was the toughest game. I think that was one of the most challenging games you
Mm,
played that I saw you play. Because
yeah.
I mean, it was raining. They was
Hmm.
whooping us at
Hmm.
bro. They was blowing us. It was like 29-12 at halftime. We
Yeah.
all in the locker room crying because we ain't never like this
Hmm.
is a real thing. There's no cap. Everybody was in the locker room crying because we so used to blowing people out.
Right.
Being up is like man, we really about to lose. We were undefeated. And
Mhm.
I remember you had like 2 fumbles and they ended up scoring. I'm like, damn, I know my boy gonna shake back though. So
Yeah.
I personally I think that was one of your most challenging games. But you ended up killing them though. We came back in the storm back in the second half. You had
Mhm.
like 2 game clinching touchdowns. You and Van Leer went crazy that game. Oh my God.
Mhm.
Van Leer had the punt return.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that game was nuts, bro. Like that was
Yeah.
like one of them games where we had to come back from adversity because we never faced it. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? Bro,
yeah, that was tough.
you remember that
Cause
game?
like you said, oh yeah, oh yeah. Like you said, it was we was used to blowing folks out, and honestly, I think that was one of the games where I really realized the physicality aspect of it. Like we was straight speed. Like get
They was
anybody the
big.
ball in space, they're gone, right? And they had some dudes up front, and we just couldn't get stuff going. Like I couldn't get going. We were messing up stuff, and it was just yeah, it was rough. But that was one of the times where I was like, yeah, getting what is they playing Wright County, I think.
Mm,
Like, yeah, their football's a little bit different, little farm boy football. It's not city football. So
so
yeah.
yeah, so all right, so we end up getting through that. Thank God, we end up making it to the championship. But before that,
Mm,
in like 8 games, you had like 1,700 yards and 26 touchdowns.
mm,
That's crazy, bro. And you probably didn't have over like 200 carries. To be honest, you probably didn't.
never.
Yeah, like I don't think you had over. So that's ridiculous.
Hey.
Obviously, you eclipsed 2,000 when we made the playoffs.
Mm,
Talk about that state championship game, man. Glencoe Silver.
Mm.
I don't even want to say the name.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about that, bro. Just talk about like that game and that sour taste we had afterwards.
Man, it's literally the same thing we was just talking about, where that physicality aspect is different. Like they hit you in the mouth every time,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like either you gonna bend or you gonna fight back. And I'm not even gonna lie to you, some of our teammates quit. I'm not gonna say names, but some guys quit. Some guys got in their head, and it's like, come on, we got to keep going. Like,
Right. Because it was 21-21 at halftime.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They was smacking us at first, and then we came
Yeah.
back. We just didn't make no adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, and like you to your point, man, that physicality. Wasn't nobody in their team.
No, I
Nobody.
mean, no.
Like height or weight wise, everybody was big.
I mean, their safety was what 6'3".
Quarterback
Yeah,
was like 6'4".
linebackers, they had the neck rolls,
Boy, hey,
Yeah, that's when you know you got a game. So yeah, I think it was fun though, because it was one of those reminiscent things where you remember growing up, you playing the Metrodome, got the whole. It was one of those feelings where it's like I've been here before. This is nothing. It's just football at the end of the day. So yeah, it was that. Plus, don't forget Adam was sick that day. And,
yeah, Adam got food poisoning.
yeah, he was a big part of our offense and defense. Uh, Shout out to Soderbergh though; he killed it. He did his thing.
Facts.
But yeah, it was just one of those things that we wasn't used to seeing. And yeah, they got the better of us. So
They definitely did. So all right, man, we go to our senior year, bro. We get a new field. First, before I say that, our coach ended up getting let go.
yeah,
So that was kind of challenging for us because we didn't know who was coming.
mm-hmm.
I know who we all wanted to be our coach. So like, did you have any thoughts? Did they even like ask you, give you any input? Because obviously you was our star player. So we ended up getting new coaches, and we just had a whole different offense and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So just like talk about that. Just that was challenging for all of us.
Yeah.
As much as we made it look easy, it's always hard to get like a new coach and stuff, especially when you're used to doing something for our whole career. We was used to the same coaches, same offense, same style, the winning mentality,
Right.
and then we get a new coach and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and everything changes. So,
Right.
and you even changed positions. So talk about that.
Yeah, no, that was big. I think I didn't know anything going into the season. I think once we got into those summer workouts, coach came up to me and he was like, "Can you throw the ball?" And I was like, I mean, I played quarterback in 8th grade. Like that's been my whole extent, but we still was in the high formation. 23 dot. That's our game. So then we go to the spread offense, and he was like, "Yeah, if you have the ball in your hand majority of the game, some things could happen." He's like, "We just need to be average at throwing." And I was like, "We'll see. I got to do my best, but we'll do what we can."
Hey, I ain't gonna lie though, that was the best thing that could ever happen. I ain't gonna lie, I be telling people, I said, bro, people didn't like that. I said, bro, the best player has the ball every play. You're touching the ball every play. You're making decisions. You can run it, you can pass it. Hey, in Evan we trust. That's just what it was, bro.
Yeah.
So and then talk about your summer, your junior year. Did you go to any camps that year?
Oh yeah, I went to a bunch of camps: Iowa State, Minnesota. I think that's when. Yeah, crazy thing is I went to that Minnesota camp, and then that next year, I had ran for whatever, and then that next year, that's when they opened up that new stadium. We go there for signing day, and then I'm talking to the coach, and he's like, "Yeah, we just don't think that you're good enough to play in Minnesota." I was like, "What? Like, I'm the best running back in the state, man. Like, what you talking about?" Yeah. That's the University of Minnesota. Yes. So I was like, all right, bump them. I go to Iowa, and don't forget, I was like, maybe 180, 190 going in the senior year. And I didn't pass the eye test for a running back. Their running backs
230.
big, big boys. So I didn't pass that test. It was like, hey, we don't know if you're going to do that. And Iowa State, I had a bump. My knee was acting up, so I had a rough camp there. So I was just like, man, it's going to be rough. Now I got to go play quarterback. It's not going to be fun. I ended up having the season that I had, and all those teams came back, and I was like, I'm good.
He said, hey, but you had fun, though. I'm gonna tell you that. So
Man.
talk about this, man, bro. It was crazy. So we went through camp, boom. So it's all this publicity. 100 years, never had a football team. Yeah. You remember that photo shoot we took
Yeah.
with
Oh, yeah.
Ramon?
On the island. Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
dope, boy. We was in the Star Tribune, boy.
Uh,
Stop playing with us. I still got that joint.
oh, yeah. Same
Um,
here.
yeah. So like, yeah. So they come, they interviewing us. Like they
Mm.
literally coming to like every practice,
Yeah.
and at that time, bro, like, I remember junior year, he was walking. This is before Coach Weinberger got fired, and like I was coming in. I'm like, oh, what up, Dub? And he was like, what up? And, like Coach Weinberger was like, Evan, you got to get straight B's the rest of your time here. You got to do it. And I'm looking at Dub. I'm looking like, what is he talking about? So anywho, bro, like, I don't know. I don't know. I just popped in my head, but yeah. We come back, bro. Like I said, we interviewing us. It's like it's a show at this point. You know what I'm saying? You know, we ready. Like we're not going this year. This is our team now.
Right.
All the seniors, we've been playing together for 4 years. And mind you, but people don't know, like that group 2010, we only lost 2 games our whole career. We didn't lose none freshmen as a group. We didn't lose none sophomore as a group. Junior year, we all was starting. We only lost 1 game. That was a championship. So we like it's only right. We win a championship. So we get to that first game. We get new uniforms. We fresh. Boy, hey, I ain't going to lie, boy. I was crying, boy, that first game. I was, yeah.
It was a lot. It was a lot. They came.
It was the last first game, bro. Like, I was sick.
It was huge.
I was emotional. I remember crying. I was crying.
It was big. We sat in the little founders area. They got the smoke machine going. Everybody's cheering. You got the helicopters up there. And I'm like, man, this is crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So we end up playing. You give me that reverse. I took off. And you scored the first touchdown on the island. First touchdown in De La Salle history at De La Salle. How was that, bro? And obviously we played against BC. Was going to blow them out. They trashed. But how was that?
It was honestly great, man. It was nice because it was one of those things where we weren't too sure. You know, our offensive line was completely different.
Small.
So, very small, but all those dudes was balling, and they did what they had to. We had Reggie, you know, in the backfield, whole new receivers, like everything changed. So it was crazy. But the great thing about it is I remember scoring, and all the guys from last year was in the end zone in that one spot where I scored. So I got to score, see all of them, and then you and who was it? Walter, yes. And then you come up and then. Yeah, still got that picture, man. It was special. It was honestly special.
Bro. And like it was standing room only. It was 2 different. So we had our bleachers, and they had made extra bleachers, and everybody could just see lined up. They were even behind the stadium, like on the hill. It was over like 2,500 people there. It was crazy. And, you know, that's not a lot of people, but like for us at the island, that's a lot of people. So it was dope, man. That was so dope, bro.
And the atmosphere is just different because normally, you know, you got a bunch of fans in there in the stands and it's like elevated from the side. But anywhere you look, you got eyes looking at you. So it's like
on top of you.
Yeah, so it's like a whole different dynamic. But at the same time, it was great. I loved it.
Yeah, because people don't know, bro. We used to bus to every game, literally to practice. We still bus to every practice, but we even bus to, you know, home and away games. We played our home games at either like BC, Hamlin, or, you know, somewhere like that. But until we got that stadium, yeah, that was dope. So, you know, so even that year, man, we were rolling. Like it wasn't a game where we didn't play past the third quarter. No. Like it was crazy, except for St. Croix Lutheran, obviously. But like after once we get up on them, like, you know, all just, you know, scrubs got in. So just talk about like adjusting and playing the quarterback. I want to know about that. Like, what was your mindset when you was back there playing quarterback?
It's tough. It's honestly tough, man, because it's just different than running. Like, you get the ball in your hands as a running back, and you can see everything coming at you, and all you got to do is move forward, left, right, and make somebody miss, do that. Quarterback, you got to do the same thing, but you're also thinking about 20 different things at the same time. So it's like, all right, snap the ball. All right, what's my coverage? What's this? And this is the first year that I'm learning it because at McCrae, 8th grade, nobody needs to know that stuff. Right. But now you're playing varsity football. This is my first time reading coverages, reading blitzes, communicating to 10 different people plus the coach. And not only that, but then you got the weight of, all the De La Salle on your back. Like, I got to do well. So it was definitely different. You know me, I'm quiet but quick tempered. So it's like, if I get frustrated, throw a pick, hits. So it's like, all right, now I'm just going to run down your throat.
Facts.
It's like,
Man.
yeah, so having that mentality, but then switching it like, hey, you got to make this pass. You got to throw this ball. You got to do certain things. I mean, it was very different, but it was also good for me too, because, you learn football a little bit better at quarterback.
Yeah. Who was your favorite target to throw to that year?
Anybody, honestly. As long as they catch the ball and it's out of my hands and it's not a pick, I'm good. Probably had the most success with Walt. If I see Walt, see that 21, get it out, because he gonna make a play. Hurdle gonna make a play. But yeah, I mean, anybody. I don't care. You throwing that wheel.
When they let
What's
me
it called?
rock out,
Concordia?
man.
Yeah.
When they let me rock, man, they bogus.
Mm-hmm.
But we ain't gonna
Yeah,
talk
no.
about that. It's your pot.
Yeah. But that was the thing. Honestly, if I could get the ball out of my hands and it's complete.
What was it like playing with Reggie? Obviously, you was a premier back from last year, and then having like
Mm-hmm.
another dominant back with you to, to spare you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
When, I don't know you. I don't think you ever got tired, but like, was it
Yeah,
was
no.
it good to have like another person to dominate just as well?
It was great. It was great. It really didn't click until I got to college and I heard some of the quarterbacks saying some of that stuff to me, and it's like, oh, that makes sense. Like, yeah, there's times where I'd be cramping. St. Croix, I'm cramping. I'm like, man, I'm gonna give you this ball. I'm not reading nothing. Just take it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, cool with me, because Reggie, he was bigger than I was, so he could
Right.
take a little bit. Being plus, he could go when he needed to anytime. I mean, he ran for I don't know how many yards that year as well. Let's not forget. But
Like, I think he ran for like 1,300.
yeah, and he probably should have had more if I was.
He would have had more if he wouldn't have kicked that dude in the head against St. Croix and got ejected out the
That,
game and
that's
suspended
true.
for a game.
Facts. But yeah, no,
Oh,
that really helped out a lot. Him being with McMenemy and them knowing each other helped out a lot because, I'd be back there. He'd tell me something. I'm like, all right, cool. We're going to do this thing. And then it
okay.
was just me and him just communicate. It was good. That really helped out a lot.
So we cruising through the season. We we kicking, but we play against Blake at Blake, and we up like 40-0. You going crazy?
Mm.
You probably had about 4 touchdowns at the half, but on one of the last plays, I don't know if you was throwing the ball, but somebody hit you and you broke your finger.
So what happened is I was rolling out. I was going to throw the ball, but I needed like 6 yards for the first down. So I was like, screw it. Let me just outrun this dude. Didn't happen. Clipped my leg, and I landed on my hand, like sideways like this, and then broke my middle finger here, like in my hand. So that bump right there, if you can see it, yeah. So yeah, I had a spiral fracture, and then me, I'm like, whatever, football's
You was still
football.
trying to play.
Yeah. So I come back the next play, and I go up to hike the ball, and my hand is just not moving, like my fingers aren't moving. So then I just trap it, and that was one of those times where I'm like, just give me the ball, handed it off to Reggie, and I'm like, yo, somebody come check this out because this ain't right. He's like, yeah, your hands are broke, you're done. I can still play with one hand. All I gotta do is tuck the ball, chuck it, and it was like, no, you're done.
Yeah, so
Cool.
you ended up missing 2 games that year, right? You missed one
Mini
game when you played Mini Ha Ha. Well, did you miss the first playoff game? No.
Trying to remember. I don't know. I was trying to get back as quick as I could.
I remember you missing 2 full games, and then because you came back against Johnson. You didn't come back the first playoff game because we played SPA, and that's when Tyler was playing. Shout out to Tyler Harper, he was killing. We beat them 88-8 in the playoffs. You didn't play that game at
Yeah,
all.
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably did. You did, yeah, because you didn't play, but you didn't play quarterback though.
Yeah, I did.
You did?
Yeah, I was playing. I had this big ass pad on my hand. Yeah,
That's
I didn't
right.
play mini high. I think I missed
Mini
mini
high.
high. And then
And
I came back
we almost lost that game. So that
Yeah,
just shows, bro. But that just shows how much of the offense you was. Like, you know what I'm saying, bro? You are bread and butter, but then don't give Evan the ball. But I mean, we pulled it off. So do you remember when we played against Johnson? and they were just walking through our oh
Mm-hmm.
man, they was walking through our stuff, and they flicked off Coach Mack, and then Coach Mack got in the locker room, got us all fired up. Man, I was cracking heads that game, boy. They was decent at first because they was up, and then we was like, yeah, but you played a lot of running back that game. You did, and you was killing.
I had to get my get back because they messed up my leg. I had to show them a little something.
That's right. That was a team. Oh,
those are the same dudes.
Same dudes. I ain't even think about that. Wow, how ironic is that? You tear your ACL sophomore against Johnson. And our senior year, we end up seeing the same dudes. I promise. Senior year in the playoffs to go to the section championship. Yeah, you go crazy. Oh God, I just remember you just running up the sideline, taking off. I'm like, this dude, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Watching you play, like it was crazy, bro. Like I've never seen no running back like you. I'll talk about that later, but still, you used to go so crazy, bro. I should be like, yeah, he's gone. Like it's over with.
Yeah.
So we end up. So yeah, I remember that game though, but we blew them out too. They like 45, 14 trash. So but it was dope to play like because they were 4A the year prior, so it was dope to play because they always used to say like, oh, y'all don't play nobody.
Right.
Yeah, we do.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So we get to the section championship, another tough battle against St. Croix Lutheran. But we end up pulling it out. So then we get to the first round, and we win the second championship. So we win the second championship, and I remember us like as seniors, like I felt like I was like, yeah, that's us. Like we really like this, really us. Like all them 4 years of working, like this is what we won it previously, but it felt different winning it as a senior because one, it's our last hoorah. Two is like, okay, we here. Like this is us. And then it's like, wow, this is finna be over with soon. You know what I'm saying? Like that really, that's set into me as well. I'm like, man, we got a few more games left, possibly play together.
Yeah.
So obviously, we played Glencoe the last 2 years, so they didn't want to see us again. So they ended up matching us up against Glencoe our senior year. And man, what a game. What a dang game, man.
Yeah.
Talk about that, man. How was that?
I mean, that was probably the toughest game I had in my whole career because it was one of those games where, like I said, I couldn't get going, but as a quarterback, I didn't know what to do. Like I couldn't rely on my experience. I mean, I could run the ball, but they already seen me, so it's like, all right, we gonna lock him up, and then not only that, but man, it was just a lot. I ain't gonna put nobody out there, but it was just a lot, man. But yeah, me personally, I just had nothing else to rely on but running the ball. I mean, I could throw the ball, but sometimes it just wasn't there. It was tough.
Didn't you mess your ankle up too that game?
I broke my ankle.
You broke your ankle that game?
I broke my ankle, yes. At the end of the game, I went to the hospital, and I had a hairline fracture.
So that's why you couldn't run the ball like that and come in. Oh, bro, I didn't.
See, what the thing was, I was trying to, and I was like, okay, I think we was down on like the 2-3 yard line. I was like, let me go in and at least be a decoy or something.
The crowd was we want Evan. I'm looking like, what the hell in the game?
Get me in the game and let me fake it, do something like distraction, give Reggie the ball.
I still don't understand why we didn't use it as a decoy. Like I don't understand it. Like I don't know, bro. We could have pushed you in the end zone. Something. I don't know.
I mean, that's the thing is, like I said, Reggie's a dog. Like he could get 3 yards.
He could get 3 yards. Yeah.
Like it was one of them, Marshawn Lynch situations where it's like all we need is 3.
Yeah, we're throwing screen passes.
Yeah. But yeah, man, that was tough. And crazy enough, the next day, I went to Wisconsin for a visit, and I showed up in a boot. It was like, what's this? And I was like, oh yeah, we had a playoff game last night, and it was like, oh yeah, we're gonna offer you. I was like, crazy enough, what's his name? Melvin Gordon was at a camp that night before, going nuts, and it was like, well, we got this kid, save this scholarship for him.
Bro, so you could have been at Wisconsin over Melvin Gordon.
I don't know about over, but could have been there.
with him.
Yeah, that was tough.
And James White. James White was there that year
Yep,
too.
James White was there. Yeah, and
That
then
would have been
crazy enough, what's
crazy.
his name was already there. Monty Ball, don't forget him.
Oh
Because we
man,
played against him at UNI later on.
that's
So
right. That's right.
yeah,
So yeah. So we ended up losing that game, man. Everybody was heartbroken, bro. Like we were supposed to win, bro. Like what is that? Nine? How
mm-hmm.
many years later? It's
Yeah,
still one of the saddest moments of my life. I mean, I
mm-hmm.
was sad, but like it was just like, man, like I couldn't even cry because I was so shook, bro. But everybody was like crying, bro. It was like we lost like like out of a movie. Like it was crazy. Like
Yeah,
we up, it's 3-0, boom, in overtime, last play of the game, they do a trick play on the 2 yard line and beat us. So like
mm,
that stuff was devastating, bro.
yeah,
So yeah, boom. So after that, so like I was recruiting then. I remember all them coaches was coming like left and
yeah,
right, left and right. You goofy, bro. Like you used to be in the D3 and D2 meetings with us. Like Evan, like I'm going to sleep. Like I ain't going to them. I used to be so. I remember we had Concordia come, and they literally was like they was looking. I think they were looking at like me and Walter, me and Keaton or something. And I'm like, man, I look over. This dude Evan slumped. I'm looking like, yeah, he ain't going there. He ain't going. We had all them schools. Augsburg used to came. Whole bunch of schools came, but like
mm,
after that season picked up, obviously, and even that though, senior year you went crazy, missing 2 games, over 2,300 yards, rushing 47 yards. 47 touchdowns, rushed like 1,300 passing yards and 12 touchdowns. Nigga, you went crazy.
yeah,
You went stupid, bro.
yeah.
2,300 yards, rushing 47,
Mm-hmm.
rushing touchdowns, 1,300 passing, and 12 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. You
Yeah.
threw, but bro,
It was
that's
one of those things where it's like, God, I ain't gonna say much, but I had a little something to prove. Like I
no,
said, I had so many people shut me down my junior year. I'm like, I could do this. Like, what are y'all sitting here talking to me for? Like, I could play D1 football. I could play at your school, especially with the backs that I see y'all got now. Like, I could do that. And so that was part of the recruiting aspect where it's like Minnesota came back and they was like, we want to offer you. I'm like, nah.
you turned Minnesota down.
Yes.
Oh my god,
Yes.
I didn't know that, bro.
And not only did I turn him down, but I was like, man, don't contact me no more. Because he came to Coach McMenamin's office and he was like, yeah, we see. It was after the Blake game that they offered.
Oh, I didn't know.
And later on, they came back. He was like, yeah, we want you to play. We see you doing great at quarterback. We saw you were doing great at running back. We'd love to play you at linebacker.
Oh
I was
no.
like, what?
Mm-mm.
Like, y'all gonna keep disrespecting me like that? Nah, stop. And then not only that, but like, don't forget, my mom was one of the first black cheerleaders at the University of Minnesota. So it's
Yes,
like,
that,
not only do I have
that's
this legacy that y'all got, yep. I'm like, nah. And let's just be real. This is how they recruit. So like, you got so
yeah,
many good players coming out of here, and you choose to get these bums from Texas and California and all this stuff. Like,
yeah.
come on,
That's a problem. All sports with Minnesota.
yeah.
So yeah, you saw Minnesota came. Who else was coming?
So Purdue, they offered,
Dang.
but I was academically, I was gonna make it. Purdue, like I said, I was playing that catch up, and I just knew that I wasn't gonna be able to handle it. School
Hey,
is not my strong suit.
right. So
Yeah, I
Purdue,
just couldn't focus. I can't sit in class. I
got it.
struggled with school, so I was like, no, I'm good on Purdue. But Wyoming was the first school to offer me, so
Yeah,
they offered
you know
me
what's crazy?
early.
I remember when you got that offer because you had it framed in your room. I
Mm-hmm.
remember that, bro. And I'm looking
Yeah.
like, man, I'm like, I want one of them. Like, you know what I'm saying?
They
Yeah,
sent
that
me a
was
nice
dope.
little plaque, and I was like,
Yep.
and then the running backs coach, he was cool. The head coach, he was like tough, like hardcore '80s, like play linebacker. Like, we're gonna work hard and we're gonna do what we can in the Mountain West. We might not be the best team, but we're gonna work hard, and that suits me.
Right.
So I pretty much had it in my head that I was committing to Wyoming the whole time.
Dope. Yeah. So signing day came. I remember, bro. Like it was the same day we had like a retreat, but I was like a retreat leader or something, and
Mm-hmm.
I was like, bro, I'm going to see my boy sign. Like I don't
Yeah.
care. And it was
Mm-hmm.
like, it was small, little intimate thing. Like your people was there, and then it was just
Yeah.
like me. you was my dog. I had to go see it. I still got that picture too.
I do too, yeah.
I took that picture. You had the little Wyoming joint hat on. I'm like, man, that was dope because it was real dope just seeing like when your guys like achieve something that we all set out to do.
Right.
Just what I'm saying. I obviously I didn't sign. A lot of us really didn't sign, but like we all made it to the next level. But like to see you do it, like it was like, dang man, that's my dog. Like he really did it. That just motivated everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So that was dope to see. So we get through that year. You end up coming back to the track team after you left after 2
Well, let's
weeks.
be real. I got kicked off the team.
Yeah, you did.
Because I had my ACT class and I had to miss practice. I think my ACT class was like 2 or 3 times in the week, so I had to miss practice. And Emily Beckman, I will call her out. She kicked me off the team, bro. Pissed me off. Dummy.
Respect. Hey, this your pod, baby. What you got on your ACT then?
28.
What? Dang, went crazy.
I had to make up for them grades, man.
Them grades was not right, huh? All right. So we ended up running track again. Bro, I don't know if you remember this, bro. Do you remember our first meet? And the dude was like, he came up to me and was like, how you doing, Mr. Williams? Nice to run against you. And I looked, I said, I'm not Evan. That's Evan. You was right next to me. We about to run on 100. I was mad, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I was pissed off. Hey, Evan. I took off on all y'all that day.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was funny. But not, man. We got the track 4x1 team was deadly, bro. Me,
it was nice.
you, Walt, Jalen, cruising everybody. Me and you in the long jump going crazy.
Yeah.
Talk about that season. And you was dominating what is that, Open 100?
Yeah.
Yeah, so talk about that season. Obviously, that was our last hoorah after football. Like, we were just like, all right, we got to do something. Like, we just needed something to do. And obviously, track helps with everything. So just talking about that season. We had Coach Hill and Coach Tate. Shout out to Coach Hill and Coach Tate, man. They were getting us together.
Yeah, that's the thing is, like, people forget, like, track speed and football speed are different things. And I think that was one of the things that opened up my eyes. It's like, yeah, you fast, but you're not that fast. I think, because, we were smoking people in our conference, yeah, whatever. But then I ran against dude from Washburn at, where was that? It was that new, Eastridge, yeah.
Eastridge,
no, it was Eastridge because it was brand
new. That's when I messed up my hamstring. Yeah.
And I was running.
Who did you run against? Was it, it wasn't said, bro was a freshman. I remember Jason. His name was Jason. His name was Jason Williams from Florida. Okay. He was dumb fast. I remember that. Yeah.
But he got, like, he ain't kill me, but he got me. And I'm like,
in the one?
Yeah. And it's crazy, running track. Football, you always looking and you can see everything. Track is like you focus. So I'm running. I'm probably 40% of the way there, 50. I'm like, oh, I got this. I just see this blue and orange coming. Just, I'm like, man, yeah, it's tough. But yeah, track was fun. It was a good time.
People don't understand that. Just like you said, that's when I knew I was fast, bro. But like, that's when I knew I was really fast. When I ran track, I was like, dang, I went to state. The juniors, my first time ever ran track. But back to that East Ridge, I want to say this on a personal note. Y'all knew my wife. You remember when she came and set us up to y'all? I'm like, who that? And y'all knew who she was. Hey, if it wasn't for y'all, I would have never.
We was on the school together forever. She was over there killing that Washburn. Shout out to her.
Yeah, so if y'all didn't know who that was, I wouldn't have my wife. So shout out to y'all, man. We dominated. I remember, man, shout out to Coach Patterson too. He used to have us doing them long jumps, going crazy, man. Like he'd be like, all right, y'all just need to jump one time because he knew we was going to blow everybody out the water. So that was pretty dope, bro. Then we end up, making it to state, and you end up placing in the long jump. Did you place in the long jump?
I think so.
Yeah, I know you placed in the 100. Yeah. And then you won the 4x1. So talk about that.
Man, like I said, it's all a blur. I just remember getting it and hitting the corner, and then just like praying to God, Pat was gonna take off. I was like, man, we got it in the bag. Like, if you just do your thing, like, we got it. Like, Walt, crazy start. So he made it easy. Me, I'm gonna eat up that curve. you know, everything else just had to fall in line from there on out. You know,
Yeah. So I think Walt replaced me though as the anchor. So it had to been like you to Jalen to Pat, or no, you
you
or
know,
no, Pat to you to you. You gave it to Jalen.
yeah, it was Pat, yeah, and then
Yep.
yep,
Yeah, man, y'all won, man. I was so happy, but I was hurt at the same time because I had messed my hamstring up the day
I know.
before, and I was just like, but I was happy though. I'm glad like Walt was there and placing
Mm,
me. Like if it was somebody else, I'd have been like, but like that was my dog, so I'm like, cool. Like I still on paper, I still won. Like because I know I was a big
yeah,
contributor to that team. So like,
yeah,
yes, I always tell people like, yeah, we want to stay. Like, yeah, I want to
mm,
stay because I know I
yeah.
did. Like,
I mean, we wouldn't have been there without you. I mean, don't forget, like throughout the whole process. I mean, we had people who were alternates, but I think it was set in stone that that was our team. And I mean,
so
don't forget to remember our picture that we took.
yep,
You know,
I still
yeah,
got that too.
yeah. So it's like that was set in
Me,
stone that that was the
me,
team that was going to take us to state.
Me, you, Walt, and Jalen went
Mm-hmm.
crazy. Nobody
Yep.
can mess with us. I don't think bro. I don't think we lost as a unit that year.
Uh,
I don't think we did, bro.
at
Maybe the front line
Burnsville.
team, but not nowhere
Oh
else.
yeah.
Yeah, and we were playing against the 2A,
Mm-hmm.
running against the 2A teams.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, any like last things about De La Salle before we move on to college? Like, is there any funny stories or things you like about De La Salle?
Man, I could go all day. I mean, we had so much fun there.
It was fun. People don't
It was so
understand. That was
much
a
fun.
hood school. De La Salle was hood when we was there.
I mean, that's the thing is like it's the best of both worlds. I mean, we was already like our South Side group was tight, but then like you throw in that North Side group, and then we all was just hanging out at each other's house, doing this, doing that, and then not only that, but like everybody from the surrounding area. So now you got St. Paul coming into play, you know, St. Anthony. You got so many people, so many different types of groups of people, and it was so small that everybody was tight, which
Everybody was
I
cool.
do appreciate that. That was really nice, and then still to this day, everybody still kind of stays in contact. So you know, that was a great decision on everybody's part. I say.
I always tell people, I said, that's, going to De La Salle is probably the best like decision I made for my life
Yeah, for
because
sure.
I still got lifelong friends.
Mm,
Going to college was easy for me.
right.
Just I feel like
Mm,
it has helped everybody like
yeah.
carve out their own career and path. So you signed with Wyoming, bro, and then I want to say the day before you had to go,
Mm-hmm.
you get some devastating news. So you want to talk about that?
Yeah, man, it's life. It's life. You know, stuff comes and bites you when you don't do it right the first time. But luckily, there's like I said, some people in my corner hooked me up, made some contacts, and yeah, I had a choice to make then. You know, either go to North Dakota School of Science or Iowa Western, and yeah, unfortunately, I was like, shit, let me go to Iowa, and yeah, that was another eye opener for me too. So,
You want to
but
talk about what happened or
with what
situation why you had to go to Iowa West?
with grades?
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I was messing up. You know, I wasn't listening to nobody. I thought, you know, like I said, you getting all this stuff coming in and people talking to you, telling you all this stuff. A lot of times it goes in one ear out the other, and you don't really pay attention to the long term effects of what it's gonna have. So that sophomore year, I was messing up. You know, I had people like, "Hey, you got to do this. You got to do this. Come on, let's go." I was like, "Man, whatever. I'm playing football. You don't need grades to play football. That's what everybody else says, right?" And yeah, I like I said, scored pretty high in my ACT, but that GPA was like a point below to where it was like,
You can make it.
yeah, you ain't making like that's what it
Sheesh.
is. So coach was like, the great thing about it was the coach from Wyoming. He was like, I understand that this happened to you, and he was the one who actually hooked it up for me with Iowa Western. He was like, I understand that this happened. He was like, but we're not quitting on you. So you have a choice. You can either go to NDSU or North Dakota School of Science or Iowa West. And he was like, when you finish, we still gonna offer you as long as you play well. I was like, all right, cool, I'll do that. So I'll stick with y'all. Ended up choosing Iowa Western,
How was
and
Iowa Western? I remember you rest. So I remember that day. So we all came over that day because you had to like
mm,
pack your stuff up and dip literally like the
mm,
next morning. So I remember it was like me, Helena, I want to say Walt, maybe like Mike Camp. We was all over there. Like, man, you was sick though. I know. I remember. And when we took a picture, you could just tell on your face you was like, man, you was sad. I'm pretty sure you cried in the car. But anywho,
I was pissed.
yeah. So you get the Iowa Western, and then you redshirt your freshman year.
Yep. So yeah, it was crazy. I think I left. What was it? We'll be graduating
May,
June, whatever,
May,
May, and then I had to leave August.
like 6th.
Yeah,
I remember that, bro.
early.
I remember, bro.
Yeah, and then right after that, we got spring football and all that stuff starting. So they just getting stuff going. You just thrown into the fire. So you really didn't have time to process anything. And it was good. Like practice was good and everything. It was fun, but it's college football. Like you got dudes from Florida, Georgia, Texas, California, everybody like on their last leg trying to make it. So it got real quick. And I played well, and I was gonna play, but dang, sorry, I lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
You said you played well, and you was
Yeah.
going to play, but you talking about Iowa Western.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, the kid was making some noise, but yeah, I ended up getting sick, and I had appendicitis.
Oh wow,
Yeah. So they was like, yeah, if you get hit and your appendix breaks, you'll die.
you'll die,
So
right?
yeah, so they was like, you can't play this year. I was like, all right, I guess I'll, red shirt, do whatever. That was probably one of the turning points in my football career. Because that's when, all the red shirts, you got to go lift 5 days a week. You got to eat. You got to do all this stuff. You get shakes. You get all this. So I'm working out, and I'm just getting bigger and bigger and faster. And I think I was at about 210. Yeah, probably about 210, 215. And that summer after my freshman redshirt year, we had our, summer training and all that stuff. And that was the year that I ran that 4.41. And I was like, oh, I'm gone. I'm doing this. I made it. And then not only that, but don't forget, we're playing again. Like red shirts, you're scout team. So you're getting beat up all year. You getting hit. But it was great because, we was playing against some talent. I don't know if you remember Sam Marish from Minnesota,
Yep.
Roseville. He was there. Yeah, we had some dudes like that whole team before us. I think they had like 20 some people go D1, and I'm talking Oregon, Louisville, like big schools. And so it's like, all right, we got to follow in his footsteps. We got to be on our game too.
Right. So your sophomore year come, you playing running back and receiver, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, mainly
how was
receiver.
that?
Good. Yeah.
And how did y'all do that year? How did you do it, and how did your team?
So crazy enough, I was playing quarterback. I was third string quarterback because we had two dudes who were legit, and then they saw that I played quarterback in high school. So they was like, hey, if we ever need some Wildcat stuff, you're going to be our third guy. And I was like, cool, I've done it before, I can do it again. So we in practice, and read option, I'm coming this way. This dude jumps on my back, and I sprained my MCL. So then I remember I'm, walking through campus hurt, and they just recruited this kid from Florida. He's nice running back. So he got the starting spot. It was like, you can play ball. So we need you on the field. How are you at receiver? I was like, oh shit, I could catch. I ain't never really played it. So that's when I started playing slot. And it was cool. I was like interchangeable slot running back. And I was out there blocking, getting them screen passes, getting whatever I could get. And it was fun though. I will say it was fun. It was just different.
Was the grind a little different, that JUCO grind?
Oh man, it was terrible. It was like you thought our practices was hard. They only got you for a year, maybe. So they run you to death.
Yeah.
And then not only that, but like our dorms, they had the men's dorm like 2, 3, 4 blocks away from where you actually got to be. So you got to like travel at 4 o'clock in the morning to go work out, go eat. Then you got class. Then you got practice. Then you got meetings. Then you got class. Then you got practice. Then you got more meetings. Like that was really the nonstop grind that I was like, I didn't know college football was like that.
Right. Okay, yeah. So after that season, you were supposed to go back to Wyoming,
Mm-hmm.
but you ended up at UNI. What
Mm-hmm.
happened with that?
So the crazy thing was the coach at Wyoming got into a fight on the field against Air Force,
Mm-hmm.
and they ended up firing him right on the spot. And they brought in this new coach, and he pulled everybody's scholarship. He was like, "I'm going to recruit my guys." So he pulled everybody's scholarship. So I was like, I'm screwed because I couldn't be recruited by anybody else. So I
Right.
ended up going home over north. We was living over north at the
Yeah, I
time.
remember. I was over there with
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
So I was at home and I was like running and doing all this stuff, trying to, you know, just stay in football shape just in case something happened. And I was like, man, I gotta get a job. Like my football career is over.
Right.
Ended up getting a call from UNI and they were like, yeah, we want you to come. And I was like, I'm there. I'm coming right now. So
Could have been any other. Was it any other schools?
no, I didn't get no other schools. Uh,
That's crazy work.
yeah, but yeah, no, it's hold up.
So you get the UNI, man, and you
Mm-hmm.
roommates with Muhammad Kroman, man.
Yeah.
So how was that? Like, how was it like? Obviously you made it. So at that point, you had a Division One athlete.
Mm-hmm.
That was the goal on the jump. You get the UNI, and then you go as a. Do you go as an athlete or do you go as a running back?
So I was technically an athlete because I had played that receiver, so they wasn't quite sure,
Mm-hmm.
and they weren't quite sure who was gonna be the running back. Oh no, I'm sorry. They had a running back there. He was a senior, but then that's when David was a freshman, David Johnson. So they weren't quite sure who was gonna start between them. So then I was coming in, and that just to be like one of the guys, one of the three. Um, but yeah, man, it was a good experience. I would say overall. Uh, Although that freshman year or that sophomore year that I came in, we're going to camp, and I'm playing great, and that's when it was like a toss up was who's going to be number two, and I ended up breaking my ankle in summer camp during a scrimmage, and I was pissed because we go out to practice and coach was like, "Yeah, you're gonna get 30 carries in scrimmage." 30 carries in a scrimmage for what? And they was like, "We want to see if you can handle like college football." And I'm like, I played against, but like honestly, I will say, playing at Iowa Western, the athletes 10 times better than the athletes at UNI. So I was like, I can handle football. Like, I don't need 30 carries to prove it to y'all.
Right.
But yeah, ended up doing that. Ended up breaking my ankle. Out another year. So
And that's
at
when
the red
David
shirt. What's
was
up?
killing that year.
David, yeah, he's a dog. He's good. He was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
He was one of those dudes where you like look at him and you like, I know I'm good, but he is just a genetic freak. Just one of them dudes you can't beat. I mean, in the weight room, like all the running backs lift together. And that was like the first time I didn't seen somebody who, like, they told him that he couldn't squat over 700 pounds. Like he's squatting and the bar is like this, like
Standing.
crazy. And so it's like
And,
we trying to keep up with him. And that's when I started gaining that weight that I did. So it's like I'm gonna live, get strong, get strong.
you're
And
eating,
yeah,
pre-meal plan.
man. I mean, but yeah, he was good, man.
So you out your own whole junior year. Then it comes to your senior year. Was David
Mm-hmm.
still there? Was he
Yep.
still there your senior year?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you came in. I know. Did they switch you positions?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What
So
did
they
they have you
brought
playing?
in some dude from Kansas. He transferred from the University of Kansas. So they was like, if you want to play, you can play fullback and tight end. And I was like, I'm barely 6 foot. Why would I play tight end? Like these dudes on the line are like 300 pounds. Like I'm a stump. But I was like, shit, I want to get up. I was like, if I want to get on the field, I'm gonna do it. So I was playing fullback and
How much did
like
you
an
weigh?
H back. So that's the crazy thing is my senior year, I was probably up at about 260, 270. I was like fluctuating.
Too dang big for you.
Yeah, because all those years you lifting, you in Iowa, you drinking all that milk, you eating good. That was the first time we had like unlimited food. So I was like, um, doing what I can. But
Yeah,
yeah, I was probably like
360.
260 my senior year.
Oh my God, you're not even the same player at that point.
And that's the thing is that's what killed me in the long run is because I'm trying to run. I get 30 yards downfield. I'm tired. Yeah, there's times where David would get hurt and, I go in and do my thing. And that was the part that pissed me off. It's like, David's the guy. Like, let's be real. He's the guy. But he's calling. He's like, oh, I'm tired. Let me come out the field. And our coach is like, no, he stays in. I'm like, what are we doing here? So, yeah, it was frustrating with the coaching staff there because everybody kind of bowed down to the head coach. Everybody knew what we should have been doing in terms of
Hmm.
like just from a team aspect, but he was kind of a do it my way or get lost. So it is what it is.
Yeah, so like even just thinking about you guys played against like NDSU,
Mm-hmm.
all them teams or whatever. I know that was always a good battle. As your senior year wraps up, like in your mind, as you're older now, if you can reflect briefly, one, did you feel like you had a successful career in somewhat, or two, do you have any regrets about your career at this point?
Yeah, I would definitely say it was successful. How many people really get to play college football? Not too many.
Division One,
Yeah, high school
get a
career was
degree,
great. I've been in a video game, NCAA,
definitely.
so it's
Yep.
like I got to play D1. I got to experience that. Everything, like all of that was great. I will say my regrets is listening to people, not doing what's best for me, but like listening to people and, playing at UNI. Like I said, I loved it, but I should have transferred. Once you start getting disrespected as a player, like once I started seeing my game change, and
Right.
like you said, when I was at D, I was speed, running the ball, juke, doing
Yeah,
whatever I can. At UNI, I'm sitting here trying to run through people's face. Like that's not my game.
that's not your game.
So,
Yeah, bro. And honestly, you weren't telling me. Couldn't nobody tell me you weren't going to the league. You know what I'm saying? And just to see it, and obviously, stuff happens, bro. Because
mm,
my career, I feel like I had a really great career too, but
yeah,
I didn't have one good year of my
mm,
career, which is
mm,
fine. But it was successful, just like you were
right,
saying. And then as you look back, I know after that you tried to do, some professional,
mm,
and try to do some professional things. Then you had like a Canadian
yeah.
CFL trial.
Oh yeah, I had a bunch of them. Yeah, I had to fly out to San Diego.
Yeah, I remember that.
Did theirs down in Mankato. I did one there. I had a bunch of tryouts. It was like, yeah, you play running back? I was like, well, yeah, I did in college, and then ended up playing fullback. And CFL is all speed, so they was like, we don't need no 270 running back. Never got any luck with that. That's when I kind of knew that it was over. And unfortunately, it was being at UNI, which kind of caused it. So it's like,
Mm,
yeah, that was a tough pill to swallow because then you see other people, who aren't as good as you making it.
facts.
It's like, yeah, it just threw me back into that whole mental state that I did not want to be in. But
Yeah.
it's like I said, it's a learning lesson, and I got to express that to kids that I coached. Like, do your own thing, be your own player, and whatever you're good at, stick to it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So after that, you get the coaching and
Yeah.
figuring life out. Talk
Mm-hmm.
about that. Like this is what I always try to ask. Like, how's that transition from life after football? Like, how is that for you? I mean, for me, it was kind of like, damn, like all I knew was football. But then at the end of the day, I was like, I knew it had to end one time at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But it ended for me at 22. So I was
Mm-hmm.
like, cool, I'm done. I'm gonna get a job. So talk about that transition real quick from like being an athlete, that's all you know your whole life, and now you gotta go
Mm-hmm.
to work. You gotta start
Right.
making money, paying bills.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the thing is, you and I didn't help us with that at all. We had our um, little ceremony thing, and then the next day you're home, and it's just like Yeah, no, it was a big time wake up call. And then don't forget, like I left college at 24, 25 because I had those redshirt years. So I'm, older and I don't know what the hell to do. My degree was in exercise science and kinesiology. And unfortunately, that's an easy thing for college football players to do, but it's not really a field that's going to help you in life.
Life. All right.
Like I could be a personal trainer, cool. I could work in a gym, do something like that. But like in order to, work at like a hospital or physical therapy, something like you got to go back to school. We ain't had no money for that. You know, we only got what we got for our stipend in college. We used all of it.
All right.
Yeah, it was tough, man. I definitely struggled for a little bit. Just getting into it, really getting into real life stuff. Struggled for a while. Yeah, really didn't have anybody to point me in that right direction. I just had to figure it out on my own.
Nah, for real. Nah, I feel you, bro. Like, it's hard for everybody, especially when like that's all you know. Like
Yeah.
it's hard to transition. So we're gonna end this football talk. So I want to ask you a few questions. Who are the top 5 players that you personally think you played with in your whole career? They could
Played
be from
with
any level. Yeah.
like the best players.
Yeah, or who you think, yeah, best or
I
ones you
mean,
like.
you already know I'm gonna say my guys, like all of y'all at De La Salle, like that was the most fun I ever had. Like
Yeah,
legit ever had. Just some of the best players that I've seen do stuff. I mean, David, huge. Like
yeah,
y'all seen him play in the NFL. He's doing that
right,
against grown men. So
yeah,
like he was a dog. Sam Marish, like I said, played at Iowa Western. He was probably the smartest football player I ever seen play. League.
it's tough, huh?
Sure. As a matter of fact, playing against players, first game ever, college football at Iowa Western, we played against Hutchinson, and we kicked the ball off to this pretty tall kid. And our coach told us, and I'm on kickoff, and he's like, "Do not let this kid like get behind you." We be like, "Man, whatever. Like we
Was
good.
it
It's up."
Cordero Patterson? Oh,
Yes, Cordero Patterson took off on it, and don't forget he like 6'4", 6'5",
God,
and so he like when I'm telling you he ran away from us. Like I said, I ran a 4.41, and I'm trying to catch him, and he's walking away from me. I'm like, good God. Uh, Another dude I played with, he went to the league at UNI, Xavier Williams.
yeah,
He was one of them dudes. That was, like I said, I was probably 250, 260 playing running back. He grabbed me one time and picked me up with one hand, like just reached out like this, grabbed me and picked me up. And I had never been so disrespected as a dude like that. And I was like, that's wild. But
that's crazy.
he was legit. Yeah, man, there were some dudes across the board. Shout out to NDSU. All them dudes was called.
Shout
Everybody.
out to Lil
Yes,
John, man.
Carlton. Yep. Congratulations to the kids too.
Yep.
But yeah, they was.
So, all right, we talking about kids, fatherhood. Fatherhood has
Mm-hmm.
blessed you finally.
Yes.
I
Yep. Yep.
manifest this for you. So let's
Yeah.
talk about that. Father, first time father. You got your son.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about that. You're a month in, man.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. That's
How,
great.
talk about that, and just talk about like I wouldn't even say like things you'll do differently. Now that you're a father, like do you realize all the stuff your dad and your parents were trying to tell you? Like
Mm-hmm.
now that you got your own kid, it's like now you got to instill like your values and morals. Like just like you said, you can't listen to everybody. So like now that you got a son, like let's talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's great. I love it. Every second of it. I mean, you told me, you was like, yeah, you're gonna be tired, but it's a different kind of tired. Like
Mm-hmm.
you understand, like, yeah, you tired, but I'm tired because of my son, and I'm gonna do whatever I have to do. So it doesn't really feel like being tired. Like you don't realize you're tired until someone tells you.
Right.
But I'm loving every second of it, man. Honestly, it's so much fun just watching him learn every day. Uh, yeah, I'm having a blast.
You gonna let him play football?
Yeah, if he wants to.
His cousin Armand over here, big tank, man.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna learn from. Get beat up a little bit.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, very happy for you, man. My
Yeah,
nephew
appreciate it.
here, man. That's what's up.
Yeah.
So, on my show, My last thing I do is like I want to ask like do you want to give like the youth or people coming up any words of encouragement, and then I'm gonna end with giving you your flowers.
Yeah, man. Like I said, just you got to do what's best for you. I know, like I said, I'm chill, quiet dude, humble. I try to be. Um,
Reserved.
yeah, yep. But at the same time, like you got to do what's best for you, and sometimes that means being selfish, uh, and not overly selfish to where it's going to affect somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
But having that understanding, like this is my best option, and stick to it. You know, that. And, I know we talked about grades. In the grand scheme of things, I was a teacher. Getting straight A's doesn't mean anything. The main thing is being able to learn and, taking what you know and moving forward with that. So it's not like they want to see you getting straight A's all the time. It's just they want to see you that you can do
All right.
it. So that's when that it transfers into that work world where it's like, oh, they want to see 10 years of experience. They want to see if you can do it. So basically, to the youth, I just say like, stick to your guns, uh, and have somebody who's knowledgeable. Be able to turn to somebody who's knowledgeable. Can't listen to everybody, but having one or two good sources that you trust and stick with that. So
So no, that's good, man. That's good. So yeah, I want to give you your flowers, man. You my dog, bro. Like
yeah,
we done
appreciate
had
it.
plenty of nights together. We
Yeah,
done did plenty of things together, and like bro. Like I always tell you, bro. Like you are probably one of the best football players I ever seen live. Like you one of
appreciate
the best players I know.
it.
You couldn't tell me you wasn't going to the league. I always be like, man, Evan, you could have got us out the hood.
Man.
But hey, at the end of the day, like just as much as I was your brother
Mm.
and your teammate, I was a
Yeah,
fan, and I've always been a fan, and I always wanted you to have continued success. You always been one of my dogs, bro. Like you have done things for my kids that don't nobody even know. You feel me?
yeah.
Like the time when Amari, got sick, you came through.
Mm.
Armand got sick, you came through, bought us
Yeah,
food at the hospital, all that, bro. Like people don't really know that. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like as quiet and reserved as you are, like you do stick to who you like and who you
Yeah,
love. And, I
for sure.
love you, bro. And
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate you. I'm going to do the
Yeah,
same thing for my nephew as well.
of
So
course, of
whenever
course.
you need me, let me know. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
mm-hmm.
And when it's time, we're going to get active with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, bro, I really appreciate this. This is exclusive. I know this probably would have never happened in life if I didn't make this podcast. So I
Yeah,
definitely appreciate you. A lot of people have been waiting to hear your story, bro.
yeah,
A lot of
yeah.
people. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad you blessed the pod, bro.
Appreciate it.
Obviously, continue success,
Yeah, yeah.
and honestly, bro, have more kids, bro. Like, for real.
Hey, we're gonna focus on one right now.
No, have more, bro. But no,
Yeah,
thank you, man.
of course.
Much love.
Yeah, yeah.